Well, first up this afternoon, some panel members on the pre-budget forum organized by Joy Business have called for massive reduction in the electronic transaction levy to encourage Ghanaians to embrace the tax. The tax, which was introduced in the 2022 budget, has performed poorly, raking in just about 10% of the expected revenue 3 months after its implementation. Let's hear from the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quartey, and President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Humphrey Eyimdake.
Now, on innovations of revenue, mobilization, government over the 4 years period really trumpeted digitization as one of the routes of expanding the tax net. We need to find out from government, with all this investment in the digitization and all the innovations there, how do we leverage on it now? If that has become one route, we believe, if government deploys technology, which is an innovation format, you could double the VAT, because there's a lot of leakages in the VAT. Even though the structure is not perfect, we have tabled in our budgetary submission that let that VAT be relooked at and then deploy technology. That is clear innovation. E-levy, we know, had its own difficulties, and for us, we believe, why don't you reduce the e-levy and possibly expand the scope that was adjusted? That becomes another form of innovation that you could do.
E-levy can be made better, can be made more efficient. Let's reduce the rate to 0.5, and I am sure we can raise a lot of revenue. It's quite shocking that we have a product that has substitutes. E-levy, you can liken it to, let's say, Fanta or Coke. I can decide to buy Mirinda or any other soft drink. So why do you price it so high when there are substitutes? When I can walk to the bank and withdraw money, where I can use a checkbook, where I can use other means, I can pay cash. So I think the whole design of the e-levy is a good concept of raising money, given the times we find ourselves. But I think it's ill-advised. The rate is too punitive that we will not rake in the needed revenue.
Also speaking at the Joy Business Pre-Budget Forum was economist and senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Priscilla Chimisi-Bafo, who urged government to be innovative with economic policies in the 2023 budget statement expected in a few weeks. According to her, this is the time government will be required to exhibit some form of leadership in dealing with the economic challenges confronting the country.
At the beginning of 2022, we started having issues with price stability. Inflation started rising. We also saw quite clearly that in terms of government budgets, the revenues were not coming in as had been planned. And so the market was not convinced that the cuts in expenditures that had been rolled out by government were feasible, and for that matter, would be able to make the government solvent, particularly in terms of meeting its debt obligations, i.e. servicing of debt that is paying interest payments and amortizations as well. So to the extent that we are at this point, it means that the austerity measures were not convincing. And that has culminated into basically Ghana losing access to the international capital market. And we know that the implication of that has been the current challenges we are in, particularly on the forex fronts, given that now the avenues that we had, i.e. the use of euro bonds to be able to shore up the forex, is no longer available. So it's sort of all the issues are bottling up, and then given the rising cost of fuel, it is all also feeding into inflation. So it's more like a cycle that is going on. So for me, I think that government needs to be innovative to show that it is really serious about austerity measures. And given that we are also on the verge of an IMF program, I believe that this is the opportunity for managers of the economy to prove that indeed they are quite serious about cutting down on expenditure and also about measures in terms of raising enough revenue
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu-Abuaje, has described Ghana's 2022 budget as the worst in the last 30 years. According to him, the budget failed to address the challenges facing various sectors of the economy.
It's been negative. I think that probably is the worst budget performance for the past 30 years. Why am I saying so? Let's compare the budgeted figures to the actual figures as at September, because that is where the figures are available. If you look at all the macroeconomic indicators, it's obvious that you are not going to achieve even one of the targets, even the revised ones. For inflation, for instance, we targeted 8 plus or minus 2.
Under 10%.
Under 10%. And the revised one was 28.5. As at now, it's 37.2. And the likelihood that it will go up again is there, looking at the pass-through effect of all the things that are happening in terms of increases in fuel prices and also lorry fares and other things. So obviously, we are not going to achieve that. If you look at the policy rate also, for instance, it was 14.5% at the beginning of the year. At the moment, it's 24.5%. And what that means is that interest rate will definitely go up. And we've seen the reference rate at the last October figure at 30.52. And that is just the basic or the basis for which they set interest rate. So interest rate for now is around 35 to 40%.
Here next from President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, who described the reintroduction of the benchmark value by government on imported goods as an illegality. According to him, the 50% reduction of the benchmark values on imports, with the exception of vehicles, does not conform to the World Trade Protocols, hence the need to reverse it.
The benchmark system is illegality being perpetuated on us. Benchmark system doesn't exist anywhere. It does not. It does not exist in the WTO valuation system. It's illegality in its first, because what they have to use is the transactional values, and then they are now using their own discretions to bring out a set of values to benchmark our prices. If you do not understand, please let everybody understand, because everybody is blaming the trading community for high price of goods and services. That's where my interest is. Where government is pushing so much cost on doing business,
you push that wrong
and that's
agenda.
why I concentrated only on that aspect. And that now, if prices of goods and services have gone up, is because government have taken off the benchmark.
Proponent of benchmark.
The benchmark is illegality.
Proponent
let me tell you. Let me tell you.
You enjoyed it today. It says an illegality.
Please let me say.
Do you accept you were a proponent?
Benchmark value came, and it was not existence. And it came, when it came, and the values were high. And from customs, of course, and then they brought these values. And that's why we agitated that the values that you have brought, it's not the transactional values that we bring. And that government came out and reduced by 50%. Now, they have increased over 60%. What have they done?
Well, in other news, government's quest to close a program with the International Monetary Fund before end of this year now looks impossible. This is based on fresh data regarding the duration for a country to reach a staff agreement before any program can be settled on. Here's George Yafe.
This is not based on any wrong thing that government has done now or issues relating to the preliminary data that it has submitted to the IMF for the economic program. Looking at the processes that government has to go through before it can secure a staff deal, end of year target, or even before, looks impossible. Some persons with knowledge of the current negotiations have noted that unless the IMF waives some of the processes, then closing that end of year deal might be difficult. Here's another thing that you want to consider. The IMF mission is expected in town by the end of this month and should be leaving by December 15, 2022. Now, it could take about a month for a full report to be ready, or call it a staff agreement to be finalized for that board consideration. This is because looking at those legal processes that the staff deal has to go through, closing a program before the end of this year again raises a lot of questions. we are also learning that that final letter of intent, as well as the full economic program document, is yet to be officially submitted to the IMF. For some, the first quarter of next year now looks possible for Ghana in closing that staff deal, as well as that full program with the board approval and disbursement, unless something changes the last minute for Ghana.
The Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana is using this year's Bankers Week to deliberate on sustainable ways of operation for industry players to support economic growth. The move is to improve professionalism in the financial sector to boost confidence in the midst of economic challenges. Speaking to Joy Business ahead of the banking conference, which forms part of the 26th Bankers Week, Chief Executive of the Institute, Robert Jatto, said bankers have a role to play in ensuring that the industry is sustainable.
I think that ethics, professionalism, and ESG is really about sustainability of the banking sector, of the economy as a country. And if you take the Institute, we are mandated to educate and to also regulate the practice of banking profession in Ghana. And that requires us to be the voice of professionalism and ethics. And really, if you look at where we have come from as a banking sector, it's clear that we need to put ethics very high on the agenda, and even as we develop people to be more competent bankers. But ESG is key, because if you think about it from governance perspective or even from social and environmental perspective, it is one that presents us opportunities, but it's also then saying how do we bring it to the individual level and organizational level, and making sure that we are doing banking in a very responsible way. So these are really very important thematic areas that we need to pay attention to, not just as bankers, but also as a country.
And now, as part of moves to integrate trading of stocks and improve liquidity on the African continent, a trading portal is being introduced for the Ghana Stock Exchange and Nairobi Securities Exchange. The second stocks trading platform is expected to be in Nigeria and other markets by next year. At a short ceremony to launch the portal in Accra and Nairobi, Deputy Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abnose Amwa, expressed confidence that this will boost trading among African countries. Here's more.
Ghana and Kenya will be the first stock exchanges to experience the new technology, which seeks to open up the capital market for investors. The portal, known as Second Stocks, will be used to buy and sell stocks with ease from any of the two participating markets. According to Deputy Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abnamwa, this is the way to go in boosting trading in the capital market of Africa.
Investors have options in terms of the number of companies they can invest in, the number of products they can invest in. And companies that are raising capital also have options, because they can now access a much bigger market, the African capital market, exactly as the African Free Trade Continental Area seeks to do. So that is what the Ghana Stock Exchange is pushing for and advocating. So far this year, or in the past few months, we've launched additional other products, but we think the Second Stocks tool comes to add to this bouquet of giving investors more choice.
Chief Operations Officer at the Second Stocks, Duke Latte, explains to Joy Business that this technology will be a step in ensuring the trading becomes easier on various stock markets in Africa.
It allows them to trade across the continent, so across all the countries, the exchanges in Africa. We have started with the Kenyan market and the Ghanaian market. The Nigerian market is soon to follow. We're also speaking with the BRVM group, and really the dream is to cover the entire continent.
Why have you decided to start with Ghana and Nairobi?
Well, so that essentially demonstrates the fact that you can trade from one block. You know, Ghana is in West Africa, is on one side of Africa, Nairobi is on the east, right? So we are essentially empowering trades between the west and the east at the moment. And the thing, like I said, is to go to the north, the south, in fact, cover the length and breadth of the continent.
The Kenyan Security Exchange and the Ghana Stock Exchange are committed to making use of this new technology.
Now, stakeholders within the credit management industry have been asked to invest more in human capital on cybersecurity issues to protect the sector. According to the Executive Secretary of the Chartered Institute of Credit Management, Ghana, Amo Ejapong, robust policies are key in sustaining the sector. Speaking to Joy Business at the Chartered Institute of Credit Management Excellence Awards and Presidential Ball, he entreated players to leverage technology to expand their operations.
Speaking to Joy Business at the awards, Executive Secretary for the Chartered Institute of Credit Management, Amo Ejapong, charged members to be innovative to support the growth of the financial sector of the Ghanaian economy.
As at now, if you are a player within the financial services industry or sector, because we do most of our transactions now online, so we are subject to so many attacks, which is a risk. So the onus lies on the institutions to put in place a robust and solid or strong cybersecurity policies. Not only that, but also training their staff on some of these things, so that once they see any issues, they can report, so that the bank or the institution can mitigate some of this risk. Because if we don't take care, majority of them will lose business, because we are dealing with criminals. I get in it, they can hack into your system, and at the end of the day, if you are not careful, your money will go.
Some award winners bemoaned the current state of the Ghanaian economy, but posit that the economy will bounce back.
So they are not going to be perturbed. It's going to encourage them and to give out their best, so that more awards can be won to the detriment of the organization and for its growth in the future and now.
We had a profit in excess of 11 million, that is after tax, and it is the largest in the rural bank industry.
Once again, congratulations.
We have some more news on the marketplace this afternoon. The National Seed Trade Association of Ghana is calling for robust regulatory framework to revive the seed sector. According to the Chief Executive Officer, Augusta Nyamadi-Clote, the agri industry can be improved through the facilitation of the seed industry. She spoke to Joy Business at the 3rd National Seed Forum.
The objective of the forum was to socialize the seed regulation and enhance industry players' knowledge on their respective mandates. According to Chief Executive Officer for the National Seed Trade Association of Ghana, Augusta Nyamadi-Clote, this will provide platform for industry players to network and be updated on pertinent seed sector issues.
The objective for NASDAQ is to bring all the seed value chain actors from public sector, from private sector, to be able to discuss issues pertaining to the seed industry, progress we have made over the years, and issues that are coming up for us to discuss and find amicable solutions to it, to build the seed industry to become more robust for us to do business in Ghana and beyond. So that is the reason why we are here today. Fortunately for us, the 3rd one, we have decided to expand it. It includes other things in the seed sector, and we are hoping that at the end of it we'll have a draft investment plan for the seed sector, so that going forward as a nation we can invest, we can find investors in the seed sector to make it more proper for the industry to grow.
On her part, Programs Officer on Seed Systems at the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, Regina Richardson, said investment plan for seed sector is relevant to improve the industry.
But most importantly, we sought to harvest ideas from key stakeholders who are professionals in the field, who work on seed issues on a daily basis, and so who have on their fingertips the main issues that are constraining the sector. So that SeedSat came out with a number of recommendations, and we are looking forward to working with the key stakeholders this week to harmonize those recommendations and see how to revise the current existing seed plan so that we would have a revised strategy for Ghana, which we want to refer to as the Ghana Seed Investment Plan. That plan would now highlight key areas for strategic focus into the next 3, 5, 10 years that will set the country on a roadmap to achieve seed transformation.
The 3rd National Seed Forum was under the theme Facilitating the Seed Industry through Knowledge, Collaboration and Strategic Planning.
Now, players within the mining industry have been entreated to invest more in safety despite the current economic challenges. According to Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Koni, this is essential for the growth of the sector. Speaking to Joy Business at the 2022 National Intermines First Aid and Safety Competition, he called for a concerted effort to find lasting solutions to the current economic challenges.
The National Intermines First Aid and Safety Competition is organized to raise awareness of worker safety in the mining industry. Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Kone, explained the need for more investment in safety.
Well, we all know that we are not in the best of places as a world, not just in Ghana. Things are quite difficult. But the reality is that we should still keep our values. And that's why we are quite, enthused about this year's competition. In spite of all the challenges that, companies are going through, that individuals are going through, we still hold firm to our number one value, which is safety. And our view is that if something is dear to you, you share it with others who are also dear to you. And that's why we decided that, look, we should do this on national television so that people can watch and imbibe the culture and the value of safety. Safety is the number one value of the mining industry. Everybody knows that our environment is quite hazardous. You have a lot of moving equipment, you use lots of chemicals and so on and so forth. So you don't just walk in there and work. You need to be given the kind of training and orientation that you need before you get in there. And as we go through that, all of us will benefit from nuggets of knowledge and skills and competence, which we believe would inure to the benefit of the larger populace. And that's why we think that we should showcase the value of safety, not just to the mining industry, but to the larger populace through the magic of television.
Vice President for the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Joshua Mototi, called for a collective effort in fighting illegal mining.
Galamsey affects everyone in this country. It's a topical issue, and it's something that we take very seriously as an industry. Galamsey is not good. It destroys the environment, it kills lives, and it's actually quite exploitative. If you really research Galamsey very well, it's very exploitative. It's exploitative labor who are working under very deplorable conditions and destroying the environment for all of us and future generations. It is very bad news for us as a country, and we need to tackle it with all the seriousness it deserves.
Winners for the competition expressed how delighted they were and called for more attention for women in mining.
This means a lot to us as a team. As I said, this is unprecedented. It's the first time an all-female team has won this competition. So it means a lot to us as ladies. It also means a lot to women in mining, even in the whole of Ghana and Goldfields West Africa, because we are representing Goldfields West Africa. So it means a lot to us.
The competition is organized annually since its inception in 1979.
Now, in its quest to present clients and customers with a comfortable and secure driving experience, leading automobile dealer Silver Star Auto Limited has launched 2 new Aisha brands onto the Ghanaian automobile market. The 2 new brands, which are the Aisha buses and trucks, are a division of Volvo manufactured in India. Here's more.
As authorized distributors of Mercedes-Benz, Peugeot and Citroën brands of vehicles, Silver Star's products line covers the full spectrum of automobile needs, including saloon cars, SUVs, vans, trucks as well as buses. Silver Star seeks to provide customers an array of options, hence it has launched 2 new Aika brands. Here is General Manager in charge of sales at Silver Star Auto Limited, Akbar Siddiqui.
We have launched the Aisha brand of trucks and buses. Aisha is a division of Volvo manufactured in India. It is a household name in India, the Aisha brand, and a very well-known logo of a horse. Basically, what sets Aisha apart from a lot of the other truck manufacturers is its attention to detail. What I mean by this is we always ask ourselves, what is it that the owner of a truck is looking for? And ideally, you're looking for a return on your investment and a low total cost of ownership of the vehicle. And with Aisha in India, it's basically known for its low mileage. So it can run the furthest with least amount of diesel.
Mr. Siddiqui also disclosed that the company is giving a 5% discount to customers who purchase the brands running the next 2 weeks.
every CD spent on diesel needs to go the furthest it can go. And so we hope that customers patronizing trucks for either their last mile deliveries or for the transportation of people for their companies as staff buses or for school buses would contact us and see exactly what the buzz is about. For the next 2 weeks from today's date, that's November 3rd, we are offering a 5% discount on all iShare vehicles as part of our launch incentive.
Silver Star Auto also deals in the sale of genuine vehicle spare parts and is the authorized distributor of Energizer batteries, power oils, and motor oils in Ghana.
And that's our program this afternoon. Thanks for watching, everyone. My name is Daryl. We're leaving you with the latest news from the currency market.